History of the American Folk Music Revival Part 8. Major figures from the 1930s. Woody Guthrie is best known as an American singer-songwriter and folk musician whose musical legacy includes hundreds of political, traditional, and children's songs, ballads, and improvised works. He frequently performed with the slogan "This machine kills fascists" displayed on his guitar. His best-known song is "This Land Is Your Land." Many of his recorded songs are archived in the Library of Congress. In the 1930s, Guthrie traveled with migrant workers from Oklahoma to California while learning, rewriting, and performing traditional folk and blues songs along the way. Many of the songs he composed were about his experiences in the Dust Bowl era during the Great Depression, earning him the nickname the Dust Bowl Balladeer. Throughout his life, Guthrie was associated with United States communist groups, though he never formally joined the party. During his later years, Guthrie served as a prominent leader in the folk movement, providing inspiration to a generation of new folk musicians, including mentor relationships with Ramblin' Jack Elliott and Bob Dylan. Such songwriters as Dylan, Phil Ochs, Bruce Springsteen, Pete Seeger, Joe Strummer, and Tom Paxton have acknowledged their debt to Guthrie as an influence. Guthrie's son Arlo broke into the folk scene near the end of Woody's life and had significant success of his own. Burl Ives. As a youth, Ives dropped out of college to travel around as an itinerant singer during the early 1930s, earning his way by doing odd jobs and playing his guitar and banjo. In 1930, he had a brief local radio career on WBOW radio in Terre Haute, Indiana, and in the 1940s he had his own radio show The Wayfaring Stranger, titled after one of the ballads he sang. The show was very popular, and in 1946 Ives was cast as a singing cowboy in the film Smokey. Ives went on to play parts in other popular films as well. His first book, also titled The Wayfaring Stranger, was published in 1948. Josh White was an authentic singer of rural blues and folk music, a man who had been born into abject conditions in South Carolina during the Jim Crow years. As a young black singer, he was initially dubbed the Singing Christian. He sang some gospel songs, and was the son of a preacher, but he also recorded blues songs under the name Pinewood Tom. Later discovered by John H. Hammond and groomed for both stage performance and a major label recording career, his repertoire expanded to include urban blues, jazz, and gleanings from a broad folk repertoire, in addition to rural blues and gospel. White gained a very wide following in the 1940s and had a huge influence on later blues artists and groups, as well as the general folk music scene. His pro-justice and civil rights stances provoked harsh treatment during the Suspicious Whack era, seriously harming his performing career in the 1950s and keeping him off television until 1963. In folk music circles, however, he retained respect and was admired both as a musical hero and a link with the Southern rural blues and gospel traditions.